What's going on? Legion Rudy here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind episode 132. So right now, we're actually going to go out here and try to collect a little bit of fried onions. Not fried onions, sorry. Like wild onions. Now, the tricky part of this is sometimes the game is freezing here for us because we've got so much built over there. So right now we're actually frozen and we can't actually move. So it's a problem and we're not going to wait here. So I think there's a couple other areas that have a little bit of them. Actually, I know exactly where we're going to go. It's right here. So we're going to come in here, and now there might be a little bit of a delay because we actually decided to try to go to the other place. But it looks like it sort of unfroze. But let's go ahead and also eat a wild pie because that's going to give us more XP while we're picking all these different things. And even though it's not going to be crazy XP, right? You want to maximize your XP while playing the game. Oh my gosh, an abyssal demon all the way out here. So this is interesting. We missed, oh, we did not miss. So he's really far away. And I've seen him out here a couple times. It's really weird that he spawns here. It doesn't quite make sense to me, but the extra XP will be quite nice and ranged. And then this is your opportunity. You know, I was going to try to sort of, there we go, sort of just mix it up a little bit. See, that's great. He gets really weak right there. And then this allows you an opportunity to really just start thrashing into him and almost dying. But we got him. So, but that's actually, I don't know, he's glitched. But that's a great way to do it as well. If you want to, get a couple shots when he's far away. Potentially even with a bow that's poisoned, right? It's going to do some damage to him and allow you to come in with melee and do the finish right there. And I think those sort of things are really going to come into play when it comes to Fellhollow. Those are going to be things we heavily rely on, probably with more powerful creatures that basically present a real threat to our survival. So it might even just be good sort of to just get some practice in doing it. Just see what that looks like and how it works out for you. So even though you might not need to really do it, sometimes it makes sense to do things just because it's good for the preparations, right? So let's see here. Let's see, like all these creatures, there's just different things that you really want to try to do for different things, right? And that doesn't really, like the way I said it really wasn't great, but I think it's understandable. There's certain things where if it came down to you or the creature or you or the monster you're fighting, there are things you can do to sort of increase your chance of survivability. Another abyssal demon? That's actually ridiculous. I'm not even sure what is going on right now. Why in the world would there be two abyssal demons here? I've seen him spawn here more frequently as well. So is it possible this is more of like a new spawn location for him? And I'm trying to get my whip out here. There we go. Because obviously we don't want to have to deal with him at full form if we, don't have to. Got him. Oh, no, he switched sides. There we go. That was crazy, though. Well, I get shot by somebody shooting an arrow at me. There's nothing. That's been quite interesting. I wonder if it's just a delay in the game where, yeah, it's a delay. I'm getting hit by something that's already probably hit me. So I think that's quite interesting. All these trees down on the ground that I never really quite finished. It's quite interesting as well. These birds can be quite a nuisance, to be quite honest. So many things on the ground that I've left over the course of time that I just leave. I don't know. I don't really need any of this stuff. So it just sort of becomes things that get left behind. Let's go back over here. Oh, we got a big dire wolf. So that should be fun. I don't know if I can survive all this right now. We've got the regular wolf after us and we've got the dire. I think we should be okay for the most part. As long as I don't keep hitting the back by the other wolf. Probably would have made sense to kill him first anyway. This is crazy. I don't actually recall too many dire wolves out here. I've also noticed an increase in them, I believe. So it's quite interesting. And now we've got this guy after us. This is crazy. We should be okay, I think. I don't think we'll die. But, yeah, that was crazy. See, what was that hit right there? Something just sort of poked at me. Is it like a bleed damage? I see that fire gauge on the left-hand side. So I'm not quite sure. You know, one thing I really don't kill a lot of is these guys, chinchompas. I'm not sure if they plan on making like a drop or something, but they talked about being able to get them and then throw them as well as potentially pets for them, which I think would actually be quite cool. I was sort of looking over here for another abyssal demon. Potentially there might be one. And see that terrorbird right there? That is so frustrating when he sort of just keeps smacking you and you can't even do anything. I mean, I guess you could block. That makes sense. So we've got that guy, which we happen to sort of see. Otherwise, he would have shot us with an arrow, which was not great. But these onions, we've got to try to get more. Apparently, they're important, and just got to try to get more. But obviously, I can only go to certain areas in the flagship plains because I've got all these different things that are going to slow me down because I've built so much. But ultimately, those are things I can't part with. I really can't see myself destroying all the wonderful things I've built in the game just so I can load in a little better. It doesn't really make sense to me. I'm not going to get rid of the Titanic and a lot of other of the builds that I've decided to make in the game that are, for me, staples of what I've done so far. So let's go back to base. What's this hunter mark? I'm not actually sure. So that might be a bleed effect. That thing where I'm getting bounced after a fight. Not entirely sure, but that makes sense. And if something makes sense, there might be something there to it. So let's go ahead and go over here. We got 2 abyssal demon kills, which was actually insane. Let's see what else we can sort of drop. Not in this one, but it'll be this one, so we can stay a little bit organized. The food needs to come out. There we go. So we got quite a bit. This was actually supposed to only be raw stuff, but I sort of, as always, messed that up a little bit. I think that's better now. And then we can drop all this in here and we can focus on that another time. That's actually steak. It needs to come back out. So let's go ahead and put this in here. And then I don't really want to work on cooking right now. I think we do that quite often. I'm going to do a little bit of rune crafting. It's obviously not going to be a crazy amount because ultimately we don't have a lot of essence right now. I don't think we don't. So this would be such a small amount. Such sort of a waste of a rune crafting potion actually, which happens to be my last potion. But let's just go ahead and craft a little bit of lore rune. There we go. Crazy, lots of XP. I don't really want to run around and collect red berries. We could, but it just doesn't seem like a lot of fun. We could go back to the Bloodblight Swamp and collect more of the Ichor, but I don't really want to do that either. Let's go over here and see potentially what we can find. Anything crazy? Really nothing. I guess we can actually work on cooking a little bit. And I know I wasn't going to do that, but I think that's where we're headed right now. We're headed for cooking. So, let's go ahead and grab out all this stuff that we can cook. We were going to try to save it, but I don't know. I guess we're going to work on it. It's not really that big of a deal. We'll collect more. I wish I had a little bit more time in my days to sort of work on behind the scenes. I felt like, oh, I blew it right there. We got to get those out. I feel like I used to put a lot more time in behind the scenes before. I think I will in the future once Valhalla comes to the game. But for now, I think I'm quite happy with basically my progress. You don't want to sort of just knock everything out immediately. I think it leaves like there's nothing left, right? And that's a problem for more reason than one, really. Obviously, I want to have fun and exciting things to do in the game as well, still too. So there's a lot that goes with that. And we're gonna go grab these animal tooth right now, and then we're going to go ahead and work on cooking a little bit, and then let's see. It's quite crazy how they changed it. So now there's certain things you can make the potions, the drinks with, and then other things you can't. Let's go ahead and work a little bit of cooking. So it's quite good XP there. We're just going to need such a crazy amount of resources. I think that's really the biggest thing. We're going to need such a crazy amount. to really use all this clean water. I don't know that I ever will be able to obtain all the resources to really go through the clean water because I don't really think that far ahead. It sort of just became a way to get cooking XP. And then once the update came, there was the realization that I could actually benefit quite a bit from the clean water. I don't want to use all my feathers. That would be ridiculous because obviously I'm going to need those for ranged, but I could always get more. And then potentially future monsters in the game will probably drop feathers, as well as my bird's nest. I believe it's bird's nest or one of the Guru pack or the Goblin pack. Hopefully they do add fire making to the game. Look at all these logs we can use for fire making to level it up. Tons of them. So let's see. Do we got any more Highlander? We do. That's 99 Highlander. So we can actually use a little bit to make a little bit more drinks. And then we're going to actually pull out a little bit of feathers. I don't want to do a crazy amount, but we're going to make a little bit more clean water into drinks. Like I said, I don't want to go crazy with it because what's going to happen is I'm not going to have what I need when it comes to ranged, and I don't want that to happen because it would be incredibly difficult to actually have to go back and do it again. And animal bones used to be so easy to do this with, but now they require Highlander, and that's unfortunate. We've got a lot of antler. I don't think those are important, but still, you're going to need Highlander. So there's really no quick fix with that. It's not quick. You're basically losing something else important, and it's really just for XP. I think I've got so much food and so many different things that these things don't really apply to me. Like some of them I don't need, some of them I'm going to really need. So I've got to be careful how I go about doing it. And I know there's plenty of time before Fair Hello, but I don't want to have to go back and get all these insane amounts of resources. I've already got them, so let's go ahead and pop these in here, and then I guess we can go back to the Bloodbite Swamp for a little bit, not too long, because honestly, time's almost up. So let's go ahead and pop one of these potions. And I don't think there's Harlander out here. I think this is all Toad Blacks and potentially something else. I really don't need any I don't need any more blood blight log. I don't even recall right now the actual name that you want to call them, but let's see. Now I'm very interested. Blightwood root to get Blightwood logs. But yeah, I think I've got plenty at the base. I just really came out here to potentially get a little bit more ichor, because obviously that's going to be so important. We'll grab a swamp weed, even though I don't really care about that either. But boy, do we need Fella Hello in the game. I mean, I don't know. It's just going to be such a bigger reason to spend enormous amounts of time on a game. I'm going to be so heavily invested in farming. It's going to be so much fun, and I'm really excited about it and looking forward to it. As I'm sure many of you guys are, it's going to change the entire game. And if it's done right and they add the right kind of creatures and monsters, I mean, it's going to be epic. It's going to bring a lot of people who used to play the game, who sort of took a break, and new players to the game who've never even checked it out. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The only tricky part with the wild jade vein here is the basically the fact that it's going to be in the water, right? And it's going to poison you, I believe, if you touch the the ground. So we got to try it out too, but that's pretty difficult. Maybe it's how long you're in there, because I know I was getting poisoned in there. And this is about where the abyssal demon usually would spawn. But since I killed I think three in this video, it's pretty unlikely that another one would actually be here. But who am I to say? I really don't understand the way that the respawns work, especially having what happened earlier happen. So I don't really say that there's a guarantee on any of it, really, right? It just kind of is what it is. Let's jump down here. There used to be a plant right there. I'm not sure why it's not there. We've got to try to hurry up and use that ledge then because we don't want to get poisoned. Let's see, we've got another nice plant here. So that will give us a little bit more ichor. Obviously, right now I'm not concerned about the ichor, but it's nice to have it because, like I've stated, once you fight high level monsters, you're going to want something to help you and assist in the battle to basically add extra damage, basically while you're blocking or running for your life. And I think that's where poison arrows are really going to play a huge vital role. It's also going to be really interesting to see what melee weapons that they sort of introduce into the game that add like a poisonous effect. I haven't really looked into it too much. There might already actually be a weapon in the game that adds a poison effect. I've got no idea. I really didn't invest any time into that, into looking into it. So if any of you guys have made it this far in a video and potentially already know of a weapon in the game that you can sort of add poison to other than arrows, go ahead and share. Feel free to. I don't really think I need it currently in the game. I think sometimes I still die, but I think people, probably a lot of you guys still die. So I don't think that's just like to me only. But ultimately, I would still like to know. Um, and I don't really mind dying in the game. I think that it's going to happen and it's all part of the process. And it's not like I'm going to lose anything when I do die. So let's go back to our base. We didn't really accomplish a whole lot there, right? We got a bunch more ichor, 7 of them. So we've got 48. A warband is attacking our base. So that's wonderful. So I think this is probably how we're going to end this episode. We're going to take care of these guys really quick. And then we're going to do an XP update and then call it a day. But I think we accomplished quite a bit. I mean, we worked on rune crafting, I think, just a little bit. Even though, I mean, can you even count it, really? Because we did such little in it, actually. It was 27 essence, so it's not even a big deal. But ultimately, we still did work on it. I think we worked on cooking a little bit. We worked on attack. We worked on range. We did not work on anything else, I don't think. So I'm also quite happy that they did not decide to make hit points or life a skill. I think that would have been a little bit frustrating. It probably would have been a mix of all the different types of attacks, leveling it up. I'm sort of waiting right now. The rest of the warband should be here, and they're not. So I think that's a little bit weird. Let's go ahead and take a cooking potion. We can pick up everything off the ground and then get a little bit more cooking XP, 104. So I don't know where the rest of the warband is. Seems that they're struggling to get to me, which is a little bit weird. I've never had this problem quite like this before. So I don't know where they are. It's very strange. Maybe a glitch in the game. I'm not sure. I want to do an XP update. I guess I'm just in fear that as I'm sort of listing where we're at, we're going to get bombarded. There's about some archers, and then there's usually like a heavy assault guy. Let's just get into this XP update. Look at that mannequin army, though. Isn't that quite incredible? I think it's actually quite something, really. This would actually be a great place to sort of build a bridge and get a nice view of it. But let's go ahead and actually do that. Before, oh, look at that. They're right there. Super huge delay. Absolutely wild. And there's so many of them. Wouldn't it be crazy if the game sort of glitched and it sent like 100 of them at me? I think that would be absolutely wild. It would actually be so many goblin packs and so much XP. It would actually be fun. Except I'm about to die right now, which I didn't even realize till just now. I might actually still die. We've got one guy, and we got him, and we had, like, so little HP. It was absolutely wild. So let's see if we potentially have any wood lying around, and we can build that ramp really quick. We've got a little bit. That might be enough. I'm not sure. But that was crazy. We almost died. But like I said, like, you can die. It's not really a big deal. It's all part of the game. And I think you're gonna die. And it's not really a bad thing. But this ramp's kind of cool, actually. I don't know. I like my base. It used to be so much more. It used to be wild. my bases. I used to just go absolutely crazy, and that was a lot of fun. But anyway, let's go ahead and go an XP update. So we've got 326,607 attack XP, range 64,555, woodcutting 1,002,000, construction 2,014,000, rune crafting 977,770, magic 124,790, mining 4,240,000, artisan 4,128,000, and cooking 486,683 XP. So we'll keep on progressing. And that's what we're going to keep doing every single day. And we'll be back tomorrow with more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Hope you guys are enjoying your adventures in RuneScape Dragonwilds. And yeah, we're having a good time. And until next time, Legion Luda out.